right, this is our podcast. So you think you have problems? I'm Mike Iratori.
So you think you got problems? I'm Ron Bush.
Yeah, so you think you got problems? Shit, I'm Jeff Keller.
What's up, Jeff?
What
All
up,
right.
man?
What's up, guys? Our guest today is very interesting. His name is Jason Egitto. Say hello, Jason.
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Power to the people, Jason.
What was that?
We're gonna talk
people,
about some
Jason.
crazy shit.
Okay, Jason, what professional hockey team were you on?
Was I on?
Yeah, which one were you on?
A lot.
Okay, tell
never
us a
heard
little
of
bit
that
about your
team.
thing. He was a professional goalie in hockey, which is the hardest fucking position you could ever play.
Oh, my God. Yeah, talk about that.
Oh, well, I mean, shit, man. I've been playing for about 35 years. Ever since I moved out here. But, you know, I played professionally in 2004, 2005. I mean, I was an emergency goaltender for the Rangers.
Oh,
but
wow.
my team is the Islanders, so go figure.
You weren't like the dude that was on the bullseye, what that shit called, cleaning the ice, and then he had to go in there and play goalie.
Oh, the
You're not that
Zamboni.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like a Rudy.
Now, why'd you quit? Did you get fired or did you quit?
No, just the contract was up, and it was. I'm just like, you know, they only wanted me because I could fight. They wanted a fighting goalie.
That's cool.
Wow.
At the time. At the time. But
Is that how you so how do you audition for, like, how do you try out? Do you stand there in your pads and they give you a stick and then somebody just jumps in there and starts beat the shit out of you? Like, what does that look like?
Actually, I just walked on. I walked on to a lot of teams, and you know, it's just like you go to training camp.
Yeah.
And you go through, you know, all the drills and shit. And I mean, you're not fighting, like, there's no, like, you know, drop the gloves and fight like in training camp.
Right.
But you can't take shit. I mean, if somebody gives you shit, then you knock them out. But it's pretty much, it's like, you know, like going there and get a fight with number 52. And it's like, well, the guy, I'm 5'9", 200 pounds. And this guy's like 6'5", you know, 280. All muscle.
Boom.
Wow.
So I'm like, all right, like, whatever. So I'll try to go in there and I'll try to last like a minute, but usually 2 punches and I'm ruined.
So you made them offer that they couldn't refuse. That's how you got on the team?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Ron, I think your nipples are getting hard, Ron.
No. He's New York Italian. I can't show that.
Nice.
You know
All right. Jason is also a world-class sculptor. Jason, tell us about that. Tell us what you do.
Well, after the hockey career, if that's what you want to call it, I went back to school and got a degree in computer animation, and then I taught classes after I got my bachelor's, and I taught in prison, community, college, and I was adjunct professor for like 6 years. And then I went back to I went to grad school for toy design and sculpture, and so that's what I do now. I worked for like Hasbro, Mattel. I freelance for all sorts of companies, and
So
I make my own. And I make my own
like,
shit.
Are you making like those figurines and stuff like just to say, like, if a Marvel movie comes out?
Jason,
Yeah.
grab one and bring it on camera. Go grab it. His stuff is off the fucking chain.
All right, hold on.
Yeah, Mike said that shit was off the chain.
Right.
All right. So this was my current.
Wow.
That's good.
Damn, you're a really creative dude, man. Congratulations. That's badass.
He's serious, man. His art is fucking serious.
Yeah, if you're designing,
that?
yeah,
Okay.
we can see it. If you're designing toys for Mattel and those type of companies, bro, you're really, really good. I mean, that's impressive. How did you get into that? Like, how did you go from Did you always know you were a creative? Like, how do you go from hockey and being a fighting goalie to creating toys for Mattel kind of thing, Like,
All right,
what was that?
the professional hockey thing was all an accident.
Okay.
I've always played sports, but I mean, in school, I knew where my direction was. I mean, I always wanted to be creative and do art, like illustration, design, stuff like that. And then I went to junior college and played Division III hockey there, and I just had a really good stint. And scouts would come to the game. They'd be like, "Hey, why don't you try out for blah blah blah, this team, that team, So I'm like, okay. So I would go and try out because it was initially a walk on, but it was more like you kind of have to be invited, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Invited walk on.
So they would invite me to go to these camps, and I would go, and then they would pick me up for like a half a year contract, shit like that, and then I got traded a lot.
Was the money good?
I think I got traded for like a used hockey bag and a porno magazine once.
So I guess that answers the question if the money was good.
Well, put it this way, I would get paid like $1,500 a game.
Okay.
And like if I played, it was like $2,500. If I sat the bench, it was like $15. Then if I fought, I would get like $1,000 bonus.
Oh wow!
So I'm like, fuck that. I'm just gonna go and fight.
Right.
Because around that time, a lot of people weren't going to hockey games. It was just like a lot of the the NHL was in dire straits.
What year was this?
2004, 2005.
Right.
Because there was a lockout in 2004, and then after the lockout, that's when I was a scrub.
Right.
So,
they were trying to eliminate the big contracts, is what they were trying to do. So they just scratched the whole deal.
Well, yeah, even in the minor leagues, the minor leagues were suffering big time. So their whole thing was like, how are we going to get people in the seats? And they're like, fights, goalie fights, just fight, just tons of fighting.
Wow.
So I'm just like, if you pay me, I'll fucking fight. I don't give a shit.
So basically, it became like WWE on ice.
Yeah,
well, Ron, they've always had the goons to protect the stars.
Right.
So if somebody goes after their star player, they bring in a goon to go ahead and go after that guy that went after him.
Right.
Gotcha.
So even though I was a goalie, I was still a goon.
Right on. And so you're New York Italian, you're playing in the hockey league, so you were probably like half of all the black people in the league, right?
Yeah, I was probably the only the half black guy in the league at that time.
Because a lot of black folk don't like ice. You know that shit.
I mean,
right?
I'm 50% Sicilian, so.
Yeah.
You black.
Yeah, he's black. As I told him earlier.
The Moors. The Moors.
Hey man,
Sicily.
Hey man, I can go to the marches now.
You could go anyways.
Yeah.
I know. Why not?
The brothers love Italians, man. South. I'm from West Philly. South Philly is nothing but Italians. You know what I mean?
I used to hear that all my life. People would like try to bust my balls, be like, "Oh, you're half black." I'd be like, "Who gives a shit? Who gives a fuck?" That never fucking bothered me.
All right, Jason. Let's talk about your problem, okay?
All right, yes, man.
You're an interesting
man.
guy. Let me go there. Okay, Jason is like, he loves to, like, he masturbates more than any human being I've ever seen in my life. And he's in love with his rubber vagina. Now tell the story about how you took the vagina over across the country. Tell us the whole story.
All right. Do you guys know what a fucking a rubber torso is?
Yes, we know
like
it.
The fucking.
I thought I'd help you with your masturbation right there. Look at that.
Please continue.
Oh man. I can we pause for a second? I gotta take care of some business. Okay. So anyway, rubber pussy.
Yes.
This thing was a fucking rubber torso, right? No head, no legs, no fucking arms. It was just tits, a pussy, and an asshole. Right? Let me tell you something. I fucking bought that thing. That thing was $300. I bought that thing so fucking quick that you're fucking my head spun. So I brought the thing home, right? And I kind of felt bad because it's like I felt like I just chopped up a body and I'm ready to fuck it. So I didn't know what to do with this thing. So like I put pillows and blankets like over the arms and legs and head. So it was just like the torso sticking out. So I didn't feel guilty like I was fucking a dead body. So I fucked the shit out of this. I mean, and this wasn't that long ago. This was like 10 years ago. Or maybe like 6 years ago, because I fucking had it here until I broke it. But man, I would fuck the shit out of this thing. Oh my God.
Broke it?
How did you break it?
How do you break a torso? A plastic torso?
I just fucking, I came inside of it so many fucking times.
What?
Like the fucking thing, the thing just disintegrated. Because I was just fucking so much.
Till it just fucking dissolved.
That's torso.
It just dissolved. So I had to fucking, I didn't even wrap it up. I just threw it out in the dumpster in my complex. I just threw the fucking thing right up.
Okay, but, now you've got to tell my two. Okay, you got to tell my two co-hosts that you eat the rubber pussy and you get off from it. Tell us this.
All right. Sometimes I switch. Sometimes I fuck it, then I eat it, jerk off, and then I fuck it again, and then I eat it up. I love licking pussy. All right, that's something I've always liked to do. And I mean, I would just alternate between fucking it and eating it out. And my first one of not my first, but one of my greatest sexual experiences was in college. And I was dating this sorority girl at the time, and she let me fuck her and eat her friend out. And I fucking lost it. Like I lasted probably 15 seconds.
Really?
So
that's the white half of you. Niggas would have went all day.
Out of anger.
Yeah. The white half of you is what got a fucking dismembered torso and fell in love with it.
Yes.
Just want to categorize what's happening to you right there.
So I would have married that fucking thing. And matter of fact, I got to go out and buy a new one after the show. So.
Do you have a girlfriend?
Anyway, no.
Okay.
That's why he's here. That's why he's here. This guy, talk about.
Okay. Wait. There was something that I had to say about that. Okay. I took that fucking torso across the country because it still had some miles left in it. So I just put that thing in my back seat, and I drove right across the country with that motherfucker.
Now,
I mean, I would make some pit stops and fuck it, but.
So this is my question, man.
Please, Jeff.
How did you know that you like plastic pussy? How did you get to that point? Was you making a doll or something for Hasbro and fucked it up and it looked like a pussy and you thought, God, I like to hit that? How did you get to that point?
Okay, this is how I got to the point. I was fucking doomed from fucking that sorority girl and eating her friend out. So I would want this all the time. So I got used to it, right? And then when I graduated, it got taken away from me. And it's like, who's gonna want me to fuck them and eat, someone else's pussy at the same time? So I had to improvise. So that's where the torso came in.
I know, but how did you come up with the torso? How did you go like, I just got to get me a rubber torso? How did that? Like if I get on a pussy drought, I'm not gonna sit there and go, you know what would be nice? A rubber torso for me to wear that ass out. That's not gonna enter my mind.
Well, I have to be creative. I got to be creative. So, I'll go every now and then. I'll go to the fucking porn store, man, and I just saw this thing in a box with
and
the
you
pussy
fell in
and
love.
the asshole. I just felt I fell in love, man. I fell in love. I fell in love with the rubber pussy.
Did you name it?
No.
Have you?
No,
have
You
you
had
seen,
no name?
have
No.
you seen those videos where people fall in love with inanimate objects and they take them to amusement parks and shit like that?
Yes.
Is it that type of love, or is it just I just love to hit this pussy?
No, I just want to hit it and then just put it on my couch and put a blanket over it.
All right,
then-
so
and
as
then-
a
no,
kid,
Why do you cover it? Why do you
Yeah,
cover it?
Why blanket?
Well, I don't want any dust getting on it.
so
You
as a
should-
kid,
You're shooting your load in it.
Plus, you gotta oil it up. You know, you gotta keep the silicone fresh.
right?
know,
Apparently,
As a
because you
kid-
wore it out.
As a
Yeah.
kid,
See, I didn't oil it up.
but as a kid, did you ever like hump your pillow or do some shit?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I used to fucking hump my pillow. I used to fucking hump my bed. My God. Socks.
So, do you consider yourself a sex addict, or do you
No.
consider yourself sex starved? Like you don't get enough.
Sex starved. I wouldn't say an addict because I can go and have sex with women right now, but it's nothing I'm attracted to, right? So, you know, I mean, if I have sex with a woman that I'm not attracted to, I call it community service.
Right.
And
So-
I just It's
So
just-
how
it's just hard.
so how often, like in a month period of time, how many times do you have sex with a human woman?
a month.
Yeah, just number. Like how many times?
Zero.
Like, how many times? You know,
How about a year?
versus the fake pussy.
I fuck the fake pussy more than I fuck women, real women.
Now,
Okay.
why is that? Why do you think
Because
that is?
I can't find anybody to fuck me here.
Well, you
Why
think
not?
it might be when they walk in your house, they see a plastic pussy, that might just kind of like be,
A torso, a legless torso, and head. You know.
Well,
They see the
I'm
dolls.
gonna hide it. Of course, I'm gonna hide it if I have company.
Can I'm just gonna say this, okay? I'm gonna say this. And as a gay male, okay, who is sexually active, okay, men are disgusting pigs. I get it. We are, okay. I'm an animal, okay. I carry white boys around the house like a lioness carries her cub by the neck, okay. So I get it.
It's awesome.
You know what I mean? I get it. But what you have to remember is that there's always that subconscious creepy factor. Like you can't have the creepy, like I'm going to dismember you as soon as I come feel. You know what I mean? And it's sounding like you're treating this torso, like you're moving the body around the house like a serial killer while you're inviting live prey into the building. And I'm thinking women probably feel that. They're like, wait a minute, what's going on with this guy? Does he have a torso in the closet? And you do, you know? And so do you think do you think it might be an energetic signature that women are picking up on?
Oh man, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm desperate.
No,
Right?
not desperate. He's not saying desperate.
Yeah, you're not
You
desperate at all.
you might be putting off when you're talking to them a creepy vibe. So that's when they're like, hey, let me go to the bathroom, and then they never come back.
Right. Because women are really, the thing about women is
I mean,
this. Okay?
I've been
Right.
on so
Go ahead.
well, I've been on so many dates, in the past year, and I mean, let's just say I've been out with like 10 girls in the past 6 months, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I've only fucked 2 of them.
Okay.
Not good odds.
So I mean, to me, I think those are pretty good odds.
Right. And so to finish what I was saying, a lot of the times when I'm talking to my friend girls, they're like, I went on this date, but he was so weird or he was so creepy or there's just something about him I didn't feel safe is what it always comes down to. Because in their mind, it's like, if this guy turns violent, what's happening to me? You know what I mean? And so my wonder is, do you think that maybe, like while you're looking at her and you're on a date, like the distance in your eyes is envisioning this torso plastic pussy on the counter, but like nothing can please me like that.
Jesus Christ, I hope not. I mean, then again, I don't know what people are thinking. I mean,
Right.
I don't necessarily come off like if I'm on a date, I come off creepy.
Mhm.
I mean, I've never had anybody complain. I've always got second dates,
Okay.
but you know, I would say a lot of them didn't lead somewhere because we're just looking for different things at the time.
Can I interject real quick?
Yes.
Yeah, the interesting thing about Jason, which I find fascinating because I know him through other people, is the fact that his parents are still married. So he has this like really nice upbringing with like traditional parents and traditional family, whereas mine isn't that way. Jeff isn't that way. Ron's definitely not that way. So it's interesting. I think we've all talked about this off of the podcast. What I think is interesting about him is even though he comes across creepy, his morals are actually good because he's a straight guy that actually wants to get married. Jeff and I, we've already been married. I don't need to be fucking married. This dude actually is a good dude underneath the creep. I think what you need to do is ask out more women. I think you have to learn to sift the ones out that don't have your values, that don't want the same thing. And you can do that over a cup of coffee. I'm like Ron. I ask 5 questions. Who, what, when, where, why, how, time. They don't fucking answer those questions. I'm out of that fucking coffee date in 30 seconds. I don't give a shit. I don't want to know their drama. I don't give a fuck. And I learned that from Ron. Ron goes for the fucking kill. I will not fucking listen to that shit.
Damn,
So you, Jason, you got it in a different way because Jeff and I are different. We don't give a fuck. Like, yeah, we like women, but yeah, we're going to do what we want to do to get what we want. You, if you're looking for a wife, know that you're going to wipe out 98% of the people that you meet. They're just not going to fit that criteria.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard. Obviously, I mean, it's really hard in LA, and I have a lot of gay friends, and they all want to fuck me. And
wait, hold up a second. How
Have
do you
they
know
told you this?
I want to know.
wait, what?
How do you know they want to fuck you? They're like, yo,
because they told me all the time. They're like, well, why don't you just be gay? It's easier. And I'm like, well, I just don't like dick.
But that don't mean they want to fuck you. They just saying, why don't you be gay? It's easier.
Oh no, my friends have fucking told me, they're like, let's fuck, and I'm like, I'm not attracted to guys.
Wait, did you think about it though? Did you think about it?
No.
Okay, so
No.
Okay, so a couple things. Okay, when you're hanging around guys that want to fuck you, what is that all about? Because like when I'm hanging with Jeff and Mike, I'm not leaning over and be like, I probably should fuck you right now. You know what I'm saying? It's just not.
I think.
Or it's like if you know what I mean? There's respect.
I think it's the. I mean, I'm speculating here because I'm not a gay male, but I think it's the thrill of trying to fuck a straight guy.
No, so let me to address all straight men of the world right now. Just because you got a dick and an asshole don't mean we want to fuck you. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes when we meet guys, we're like, why is this guy not sucking dick yet? Because clearly he should be. You know what I mean? I'm like Mike and Jeff will tell you, I am the king of bringing these gay ass motherfuckers out the closet. I mean,
I bring Ron with me if I think a dude's gay.
So so don't think that just because they're saying that they want to sleep with you unless you're putting yourself in a situation where you're around gay men who do want to sleep with you, and then you have to ask yourself, what is that all about? Because I never try and willingly put myself in a situation where women I know want to bang me, that I'm around them. You know what I mean? I don't play that shit. Bitch, go get you some real dick. I have no intention of touching you. Right?
I want you to suck that guy's dick with the afro right there. That's what I'm talking about. Go ahead.
Oh, Jeff, why did you put up your porn picture? Mike, You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
Make it look like you're a Soul Glow. Go ahead.
listen, Jason, I think what they sense on you is that they see a crack in your armor, so they're going to try to take advantage of that shit. So I think Ron's right. The first thing you got to do is cut all these faggot motherfuckers off. They're your boys. You see them once a month for coffee. That's it. And you set that boundary of like, that's it. That's your first step.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not like we're going out to the gay bars or anything, but I mean, I have friends that we're like groups of friends that everybody's involved in, and we hang out like that way.
I'm sure you go to the Abbey, right? You've been to the Abbey with your friends.
Well,
He didn't say no.
I think the point that I'm making, the point that I want to make is, first of all, when it comes to dating women, all right, I tell a lot of guys, especially straight guys, because me and Jeff and Mike talk about this all the time. I would absolutely hate to be straight right now. Dating as a straight male must be just a nightmare. You know what I mean?
Oh, just terrible.
Just terrible. An absolute nightmare. But that being said, women love to have sex just as much, if not more, than men do. It's just you got to know what lake you're fishing in. You know what I mean? And you sound like you need to be dating women that are into fetishes. Like your dating website should be like fetish websites where women want to be have their titties tied up and hang from the ceiling fan or something like that. You know what I mean? So when you introduce the fake pussy, they're like, oh, you got fake pussy too. You know?
Wait, and here's another thing. I'm on a couple dating sites, right? And I'll match with girls all the time, but it's like after a couple days go by, or a week or something, and especially in quarantine, like they just disappear. So it's like now you have to find somebody else to talk to, and it's like, it's like why do they disappear, whatever, but. It's just like it feels like it's just like this revolving door.
Ron is onto something though, because if they keep disappearing, you gotta ask yourself, why do they keep disappearing?
Right. And
I mean, we have normal conversations. It's not like I send them a picture of my dick and be like, "I'm gonna fuck your ass." It's like
that's not what I'm saying.
Totally, it's like totally normal conversations trying to get to know somebody, and then they just disappear.
Right, but what Ron said earlier though, is you might even be putting off a gay vibe in that conversation. You could be putting off a creepy vibe in that conversation, but they picking up on something because a lot of them aren't. They ghosting you.
Because women like dick. You know what I'm saying? And they go through extraordinary lengths to make sure that when they find a dick that they like, that they can keep it because they need that dick in the pocket. You know what I mean?
Well, and Ron's right with this too. They also like authority. It's this. If you're trying to get a wife, Jason, it's a different animal. You need three things. You got to emotionally lead them, okay? You've got to protect them, and you got to financially take care of them. If you can do those three things, I don't give a shit where you go in the world, you can meet a wife. I myself not looking for one. Jeff is probably not looking for one, but you need those three things because that's what they look for in a husband. And they like, even if the guy's not strong, he's got to come across that way. If a guy's too mamsy-pamsy, chicks don't like that shit.
Yeah, but I never come across shit. No. I mean, I'm ready to throw down.
Yeah, you have a man. I think what I would say with Mike, the only thing I would add or change with Mike is that women want men that are emotionally available. That has a sense of compassion because in their mind, it's like, okay, so if I have kids with this guy, is he going to be emotionally available to my son, to my daughter? Is he going to be a good father? Is he going to be somebody that I can deal with for the next 20 years? Because that's how long you can be, basically having to deal with each other on a daily basis. And even more, Jeff has kids, and he has a kid. And it's, you're not buying, it's more than buying a house, right? You're the rest of your life, you're intertwined, you're locked in with this person. And so is that something that I can deal with, And so there's an emotional stability. There's that, like Mike said, there's that financial stability. And then there is being a good person. you know? And, but then there's also the sex component. And going back to what I was saying earlier, like at any given moment, you know, I have my guys that, you know, I guess the phrase, you know, the friends with benefits, FWBs is kind of whatever you want to call it. But they're your regulars. And, you know, how many times a month is like, hey, what are you doing tonight? You know, want to hang, blah, blah, blah. And that's a regular rotation for a few months. And then, you know, maybe, you know, you lose one or two, but you pick a couple more up kind of a thing. But it's, you know, it's kind of the life of being single. But if you're not having the repeat fucks, then you're fishing in the wrong lake.
Yeah. That's what I'm starting to think, you know, and it's like, I'm not anxious or like getting married. I mean, it's a big deal. But it's like, it's not something that I'm like, I'm looking for at this exact moment. Right. I want to find somebody that I can have companionship with. And, you know, it could lead to something serious, obviously. And I've been in a lot of relationships out here where it seemed like it was going that way, but then, you know, they just break it off.
Well, I'll say this too, because, you know, we're in 2020 and a lot of women are making their own money.
Right.
You know, so
yeah, I mean, that's
a lot
great.
of women, let me just finish this thought. A lot of women do just want somebody that they feel won't leave them when times get tough. Right. They want somebody that'll just listen to them, and all that just being emotionally available. And, you know, a lot of women now don't give a damn as long as you're paying your own bills and taking care of yourself. That's all they care about, because they're like, I got my own money. But right. They don't have somebody that will listen. They don't have somebody that's emotionally available.
Right.
They don't have somebody that's just
an adult, a real adult.
And that's what a lot of women are looking for. And so if you're not acting like that adult, you think you're being funny and cute and all that, they're like, nah, I ain't got time for this.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, Jason, too, you're so artistically talented. Rather than be online looking for somebody, because online they all fucking lie anyway.
Right.
Maybe take an art class. Yes. Let me finish. Maybe take an art class or teach. I would tell you to teach an art class.
I agree.
With what you do.
How you going to be the creepy teacher?
Listen, let me finish. And I felt like if you fucking taught a class or you did something with art, I feel like you would attract a different kind of chick that you probably could take out and you could have a relationship with. Because it's where you meet them, too.
I think you're right.
It's where you're meeting them.
And listen, I want to walk something back real quickly. I don't think you're creepy. You're just New York Italian. It's this whole thing. You know what I mean? It's just, that's what you guys do. You know what I mean?
No, man, believe me, I don't get offended whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, you could call me a guinea wop, fucking whatever. I don't give a shit.
From talking to you now, you seem like a really good guy. What do your parents do for a living? Like, where are they? You know, where are they from? You know, what's your parents like?
My parents are saints. Yeah, my dad was a cop for 33 years. Been retired for a long time.
Sure.
He loved his job. Loved being a cop. And, you know, back in the 80s and 90s, there wasn't, where I grew up, like Syracuse and in Utica, you know, in that upstate area, there wasn't that much crime, you know, like being
there wasn't a crack epidemic going on?
What's that?
There wasn't a crack epidemic going on?
Not in Syracuse.
I don't know.
Neighborhoods.
I don't think in Syracuse. I mean, I think you had, like in that late 90s, meth labs were popping up.
Yeah, a lot of meth up there because people would buy it.
Yeah. Syracuse is definitely with suburbia compared to New York for sure. You know, I don't see crack being out there. Yeah,
and the people are different. They're way more conservative.
Absolutely, yeah. It's upstate New York, man. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Upstate people are more conservative. But I mean, my dad gave everybody a fair shake. Like he never he was never biased towards anybody. And I remember several times when I was a kid, I remember like one time in particular, we were at a mall. I must have been like 7 at the time. And I remember this guy coming up to my dad and shaking his hand. and you know, I couldn't really hear the conversation. But then he left, and I'm like, Dad, what was that about? And he's like, oh, I arrested him, you know, like a week ago or something, and I remember the guy saying, you know, yeah, thanks for treating me like a human. And
Wow.
I was like, oh, like, okay. So, you know, those things stick in my head.
Yeah.
And my dad, like, you know, it was all about structure and you know, like getting good grades, going to a good school, shit like that. Like there was
Were you raised
go
like
ahead.
Catholic or like what was your?
Yeah, I was raised Catholic, but you know, I mean, I don't know if I believe in any of that shit anymore. But my
Did your
parents
mom
do.
work or did your mom work or like what was her situation?
Yeah, my mother was the head of hematology at a
Oh
hospital.
wow.
Wow.
So
These are really
she would.
like good. These are like really good milk and butter type people, man.
I told you that shit.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's on the outside. We don't know what was going on in the house.
I'm thinking.
yeah, I mean,
I'm digging.
I'm just
I
saying.
had a pretty normal childhood.
How did you get disciplined?
Okay, this one time, I'll never forget this. In ninth grade was really, really tough for me because that was like, you know, you had to take like chemistry and like advanced math and biology and all this shit, right? And I was having a hard time with chemistry. So I failed chemistry. I got a 64 on the exam and passing was 65. And I'm like, the motherfucker couldn't give me a 1 point somewhere. So I remember going home one day, you know, like after exams and failing that test. And I had to go to summer school and I had to tell my dad about it. Like first I would tell my mother. And then my mother's like, oh, you better tell your father when he gets home. And I'm like, oh, fuck, you know? So my dad came home from work and I told him, and he's like, okay. He's like, you're going to have to go to summer school, obviously. And he's like, you can kiss your summer goodbye because as soon as you get home from summer school, you're studying. So I got grounded the whole summer.
So you know, you got
That's it?
or anything like
And
that?
You didn't get
To
your
me-
ass beat?
To me, I thought that was a bit extreme. But
Oh, that's white privilege right there.
I used to get beat all the time. That's why I'm so crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I got spankings too, yeah.
no,
I never got beat on my grades or anything like that, but you know, there was spankings. You never got spankings or anything like that?
I'm sorry, say it again.
You never got spankings or like anything like that as a kid?
Fuck yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
But-
brothers and sisters, you brothers and sisters?
But nothing. Yeah, I have a sister, and she was more of the wild one. You know, she was the one that goes against the grain. I never did. Not with my
Interesting.
parents.
I'm impressed that you took chemistry in ninth grade. That's important.
I felt
Right.
it sucked, man. It sucked.
Because
It was
usually
so hard.
that's 10th or 11th. So that's impressive.
Yeah. Do you have you always considered yourself an artist? I mean, your work is amazing, you know. And again,
Thanks, man.
anybody who's
Appreciate
working for you, yeah, anybody who's working for you. I used to sell to the studios, and so we would have to contract out having figurines and things like that made, you know, for different projects. And I mean, that's a
Right.
whole that's a cottage industry just amongst itself, and those are very talented. You're very, very, very talented people working that, and you know your work shows that. But you got into sports first. Did you always consider yourself? Did you always consider yourself an artistic type, or was that something you stumbled across?
And I've always been artistic since I was a kid. I
Mhm.
always I always wanted to be an illustrator. I've illustrated children's books, but I after some time went on, I'm like, ah, man, that's just, it's not for me. Like where do I fit in the art world? You know, like I think something like that is a lifelong venture. But for me, I think I fit well with sculpture and 3D modeling. Then than any other types of art, because I love the 3-dimensional aspect of art. I like
Do you know where?
three-dimensionality.
Do you know where to get? Do you know where to get those molds and everything like that made?
I do it myself.
Okay, so why don't you make like the world's perfect vagina, and maybe put like a little tiny battery operated clit that kind
You
of bounces
should.
back
That's
and,
genius, Ron.
and taps you in your nuts when you're fucking like dop, 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 dop. I
Well,
mean,
I would be fucking lying to you if I said I didn't try that already.
what happened?
Really? Have you tried to make an artificial pussy?
I've tried to make a
What
fucking pussy,
happened?
yes. Well, a couple years ago, I was dating this girl,
Oh, Lord.
and fucking gorgeous girl, younger than me, and she was into freaky shit, and I'm kind of into freaky shit.
What do you mean,
Kind of.
No, you're into freaky shit.
You're
I mean,
into.
I mean,
This is the problem.
I like licking
This is
pussy.
the problem right here. You
Yeah.
don't know you in the
Yeah.
freaky shit. That's the problem.
You don't own it.
You gotta
You don't
own
own
your
it.
freak.
You don't
Jason.
own it.
Okay.
We'll have this
well,
conversation.
yeah.
Let me keep going, guys. We're on to something. Go ahead.
So during my, our fucking experience with each other, I think I was looking at pussy for at least an hour,
Damn.
and I fucking went back and I looked at it, and I'm like thinking to myself, like, this is a fucking great looking pussy. So after I'm fucking eating her out, licking her, fucking tongue fucking her,
Make
whatever.
Ron throw up.
So, sorry.
Oh,
Listen,
it's okay.
kryptonite to Ron. That's what
I'm
they
doing
do.
this for the arts.
So after we're laying in bed together, I'm trying to fucking think of how I'm gonna bring up, can I make a mold of your pussy? So it's like I tried to casually bring it up, and I'm just like, have you ever thought, I approached it as, you have the best looking pussy I've ever seen in my life, because girls are really self-conscious about that. And she's like, oh my God, you think so? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, can I make a mold of your pussy?
And that's not creepy. That's not creepy at all.
And she's like, why? She's like, why do you want to make a mold of my pussy? And I'm like, because it's gorgeous, and when you're not around, I want to fuck your pussy.
That's not
Okay.
creepy at all.
Okay.
I want to eat it out when you're not here, when it's not
You didn't
available.
saw her
Yeah.
again, did you?
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make a general statement right now, which could be very wrong, but that's some creepy shit that you should not be saying to women. Just throw that out there.
You can't say that to
Oh, I
dudes.
know.
Yeah.
You're right. You're
Yeah.
right.
I gotta
I'm
take
wrong.
a shower
I
after this.
know.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like it's like I knew at some point that I'm not gonna have this pussy again, right? I just knew. So I just wanted it, like, forever. So agreed that she's like, if you know what you're doing, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, great. So, shaved her down, whatever. You like, when it comes to like pussies like that, like with like trying like making a mold, you have to insert like a diaphragm or a tampon, so the silicone doesn't get inside. So it's a whole process. So I had to like insert like a tampon, and then shave it, and then wash it, and then make a silicone box around her pussy, and then lay the silicone down, take the silicone off, and then pour like non-stick silicone in that so you can fuck it. It's a whole process. But
Is this girl alive today after you did all that?
Jesus Christ, I hope so.
Oh my God! I think we found out what the problem is. You're
Yeah.
a
First of all,
murderer. God damn.
for those of you who don't know who's listening, there's an entire industry where people make molds of their dicks and vagina.
Yes.
There's it's a whole industry. It's odd as it sounds. Again, I want to get back to what you're saying. I don't know how much you own that you're into these types of fetishes. You know what I'm saying?
Are you on alt.com, like alternativesex.com? Are you on that site? That sounds like the site you should be on.
No,
right?
I'll tell you what I'm on. I'm on Bumble, right?
Get the fuck out of here.
Hey, no, hey,
Wait.
slow down now.
Wait, hold on.
I've done some fishing on Bumble, and I've looked
You don't make
back.
pussies.
Slow down now.
You're not making pussy molds, Jeff.
No.
Hey, but I could.
And I tried Field. Like I'm on Field.
What the hell is
Okay.
Field is freaky.
Really?
Yeah, it is. It's very freaky, very. And
Okay.
Let me look that up.
I've had some success on there
Really?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
with some freaky girls. Yeah.
What's the weird? Well, I don't want to get into this conversation, but we'll ask anyway. What's the weirdest thing you've ever done sexually?
Oh boy.
You may not want to know that.
No, I don't.
I think-
I want to know.
comment on myself. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you're not going to consider this weird, but the most daring thing was fucking a girl and eating another one out at the same time. But
That's not freaky. That ain't freaky.
I've been with a lot of girls that were into a lot of freaky shit. For instance, I was dating this. This was the same girl, the sorority girl. I went over to the sorority house one night after class, and she comes walking in with like this lingerie she just bought, and it was fucking gorgeous, sexy as fuck.
Uh-huh.
So she's like, I want to try something else on. And I'm like, okay. So she goes in the bathroom. I'm like, oh, I'm getting laid tonight. So she goes in the bathroom and she comes out, and she fucking starts kissing me and everything. And all of a sudden, I feel this fucking thing poking me in the leg. I'm like, what the fuck? And I look down and she's wearing this fucking black strap-on dildo, and she's like trying to turn me around to fuck me in the ass. I'm like, dude, I'm not into this. And she's like, how do you know if you ever
Did she
tried
get
it?
the tip in though? Did she get the tip in?
Oh, fuck no, man. No. I'm like, you got to take that shit off.
Yeah, she
And
did.
And then she's like this. But then she
Tell by
goes
your
like this.
expression. Yeah,
Then
she
she goes
did.
like,
It's
she
all
goes like
right.
this. She's like, are you willing to compromise? And I'm like, I just don't want anything going in my ass.
What's
and
the
she's like,
compromise though?
fuck me while you jerk off the dildo. So I'm like, do I have to jerk it off? She's like, yeah, I want you to pretend that it's my dick. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
So we've established that you're straight.
I mean, I thought about it, but then I was just like, I can't get past like her thinking that it's her dick I'm jerking off.
Yeah, she's not married material.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
But she was so sexy and she was so good in bed. Oh, I miss it.
A better friend the dildo is. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself.
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out, I guess, how can we get you dating the right type of women? And how can you incorporate making fake pussies and torsos into that relationship?
Yes, because
right?
Because I want to still continue to fuck my girlfriend and eat out pussy, but I know she's not going to be into me eating out like somebody else while I'm fucking her. So I need a fake pussy around.
I think you could pull that shit off. That's not that. That's not that difficult.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah.
This shit is freaky as fuck.
I don't know, man.
Jeff, you're vanilla, Jeff. Let Ron and I handle this one.
No, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about Field. This shit is freaky as fuck.
Oh, you saw Field. It's good, right?
I'm on it right now.
The rubber pussy?
I'm joining up.
The rubber pussy feels amazing.
What's
Feels
pan
amazing.
tender? What the fuck is that? Nobody know?
What is what? I don't understand what you're saying.
What is pan ginger? That's one of the things on field. Some of the questions.
Oh, pan is everything. They'll fuck anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like dogs, animals, inanimate
Oh my
objects,
God.
chicks, dudes, unicorns, mustard bottles. They'll do it all.
What's agender?
I don't know, Jeff. Ron, what is that? What is agender?
Ron's frozen.
I lost
So, my man, what's agender? You're on the site. What is that? What did you press
I
on?
don't know what that is.
What did you press on this?
I just straight. I just want straight women.
Okay.
Yeah, you're on the wrong site if you just want a vanilla chick, because they're the freakiest motherfuckers on that site.
Well, when one of my buddies told me to go on it, because he had a lot of success with women on there.
Really?
You know, like hooking up with them, and so I'm like, all right. But with the whole quarantine thing, it's tough.
My connection as you guys were talking about pansexual. What was that conversation? Because I lost the connection.
Pan ginger. What's pan ginger?
Agender.
I have no idea.
That's all
A
right.
pansexual ginger? I have no idea.
I figured.
Yeah. There's too many acronyms anymore. I don't even give a fuck. Do you want to fuck is what I come down to. I don't care. You know. Oh, I'm pansexual. I'm sapiosexual. Do you want to fuck? Just stop it. I don't care. Just pull your pants down. That's what we're talking about. If that's not happening, don't give me the fucking story. I can't do it anymore. You know? Do you like dick? Yes. Okay. You like my dick? Yes. Okay, we're ready to go. That's all that matters. And do you have STDs? You know what I mean? That answer needs to be no.
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
It's the question. It's the number one question. You know? Do you want to have kids?
Yeah, if I find the right girl, she absolutely.
Has anything that we've said resonate with you, and do you find yourself wanting to make some changes so you can try and find the right woman as Jeff flips through this porno site?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always take people's suggestions into account. You know, I always like hearing other opinions, especially if you know, if people are trying to give me advice, I'm always going to listen to them. I mean, absolutely, because I don't always have the right answers, and I mean, in New York, dating was a lot different than dating in LA, because you either have to be a multimillionaire or look like Brad Pitt, or both. I'm not that great looking, and I know this because I know what I'm dealing with, but I'm no John Merrick. I know that. But you know, I'm not the richest fucking guy either.
All you need is big dick in LA. That's it. You got big dick?
What?
Big dick. Do you have a nice dick on you?
I mean, it's a good size. I wouldn't say it's fucking gigantic.
You're ready to go. Trust me. LA is. That's the number one.
I mean,
that's your business card right there.
You know, it's. I mean, I had a lot of women tell me that I got a great sized dick, but you know, it's not. It's like Goldilocks. You know, it's not too big, it's not too small. It's just right.
No, well, see, you're in the game, bro. I mean, you know. Again, what I'm hearing, the two things that I would say out of this is one, and you know, my acting coach says it, and it says it the best. You know, it's know who you are and love that. And if you know, if you're into fetishes, you know, like
wait. I want to interrupt you. One thing, because you said, you know, you know who you are. You have to love yourself. You know, like I agree with that 100%. And I think a big problem with me is that I do love myself. I love who I am. It's just that I always see improvement, and I'm never happy with myself.
Sure.
Let me ask you this. You love yourself, but do you know yourself?
on what plane?
Because you might like certain aspects of yourself.
Yeah.
And then that's all that you're comfortable with. So you never fix the uncomfortable parts that you're not comfortable with.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's great. That's I know what you're saying.
How old are you?
What's that?
How old are you?
41.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with Jeff said. There's, you know, when you go from 30 to 35, that's like the first paradigm shift for adult males. You know, everything you thought you knew, you tried, either worked or it didn't work. You know, it's the likes, dislikes are more firmly in place. You know, you're more comfortable in your own skin and that whole thing. But if there's aspects of yourself that you've not wanted to take a look at or that you don't own and embrace, then there's going to be a misalignment there, which a lot of guys go through that. You know, it's just not a bad thing. It just kind of is what it is, you know? And if you've had very vanilla parents, which again, that's not a slight or anything like that, but because you're into fetishes, the journey from vanilla to fetishes, based off of your upbringing, may be something that you could take a look at a little more deeply.
I would give you 5 things, Jason, today, and then Jeff can interject too. Number 1, lead them emotionally. Number 2, you have to protect them. Number 3, financially take care of them. 4, Ron and Jeff are absolutely right. You have to know yourself and you have to own it. You are a freak. You're not a normal guy. You a fucking freak. You got to own your freakiness. I would say meet somebody in an artistic area or a hobby or something where you have similar likes.
Yeah,
and own your freakiness. Just own your fucking freakiness. If they don't like what you don't like and they're not sexually compatible with you, don't fucking deal with them. Don't even make it a struggle. Just fucking walk. And Jeff's a master at this shit. Jeff, what would you say about all this to sum it up?
I think in reality, you're afraid to let these women know who you really are.
Agreed.
When you talk to them. So you present somebody else to them, but women are smart. They sniff the shit out.
Yeah.
That's why you don't hear back.
Yeah, and
So
I agree with that.
Let me finish, Ron, then you go do your thing.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
So what I'm saying is, you got to find somebody, like Mike said, that has the same interest and who is on the same level as you, freakiness-wise, and is comfortable with what you like to do.
Yes.
No,
agreed.
I mean, I do agree with what you're saying. I like 100%, because there's been like conversations where you think it's going sexually into the conversation, but then I just read it wrong, and I've met all sorts of different types of women, and it's like maybe I wasn't reading the conversation right, and that was my big deal, and that maybe that's where I went wrong, and also I went wrong with not maybe being comfortable, being like a freak with them, but that's something you can't do right off the bat. But I'm the type of guy that likes to lay out all his cards on the table and then have people take it or leave it.
What I would say is, and this is because, for me in particular, I'm a very, I recognize the type of guy that I am. I'm definitely an alpha male type of guy. And, there's one of the things that I guess a compliment I hear or a comment I always hear is that I'm extremely confident in that. It's unshakable. I'm not a predator. They know, but they know who I am, and they know what they're getting. And in that, there's a heavy sexual attraction to it. But that comes from truly just owning and knowing who I am as a person, and being able to communicate that in a funny way. If I wasn't a comedian, I don't think I'd ever get laid because I wouldn't be funny about it. You know what I mean? But that's kind of how it, what my perspective with is that, going back to what Jeff was saying, there's knowing yourself, there's loving yourself, but how much of that self do you know and love? and then how do you present that package when you're going to buy an item, it's packaged very well, a can of Coca-Cola, McDonald's, whatever you want to call it, right? And so we as humans, we have to package ourselves too, especially in the days of social media and such. And so how you present yourself, to women, going back to what Jeff was saying, is really important, because women are not stupid, and they're highly intelligent, and they're incredibly intuitive. And, they're more so being led, they want to know that you're not crazy, and they want to know that you're emotionally available, and so that, and if you're presenting, family values, but you're actually this dating site that you're talking about, then they're not the same things. It's the bait and the switch. It's almost like sexual catfishing, because you're not an ugly guy. You're good looking. I think you're a good. You're a good looking guy, but it's just you're not giving them what they thought they were getting.
Yeah, I agree. I think I just think I can probably come off like standoffish, probably a little bit.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is what I'm just gathering from the information, like your guys' perspective. I mean, I think, especially when you meet somebody in person rather than on an app, because it's obviously different. And I feel that I have more success meeting people in person than I do on an app.
Then do that.
Yeah. Because you seem like a very personable person. You conversate well. You're very intelligent. You're very creative.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
You're checking all the boxes on what women look for when they like to date artists, because you're an artist by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, and that's something I'm afraid of too. And I don't like telling people that I'm an artist, because there's all sorts of negative connotations that come with that. And people perceive artists as, like starving artists, broke, and all this shit. So,
but you're not. You're not, and that's my point. And that just goes back to what we're saying earlier about knowing and owning and loving yourself. You know what I'm saying? I'm a stand-up comedian, and I tell people I'm a stand-up comedian. I don't give a fuck what they think. How I pay for women, they can go suck a fat dick. You know what I'm saying? But I present that because it's so much of who I am, and it's part of my personality, and it's how I express myself. And so if that's not what you're into, if you want some guy who's into like crossword puzzles and fucking goddamn, The Price is Right, then I'm definitely not the nigga you want. I'm hanging you up, I'm tying you up and throwing you in the closet while I make a pizza. And that was an offer too, just in case.
Jesus Christ, Ron.
Hey man,
never ends.
Listen, I love you. I'll do anything for you, but I'm not going to suck your dick. I'm sorry.
All right, well, this...
But you want to know what? I'll be your wingman.
I'm the greatest... First of all, I'm the greatest wingman ever for straight men, period.
Oh, fuck. I might need to take you up on that.
Well, just
That's
know
really
I've already got 2 hits on field, so this is a pretty good site. I want to let you know that right now.
Good for you.
We knew we lost Jeff. Jeff hasn't looked up off his phone in like 15 minutes.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, but I think so. Here's so to bring this full circle, and we just brought up a very good point. Gay men and straight men, we should in current society have a symbiotic relationship. Okay. No male is going to be a better wingman than a gay man to a straight man.
Yes, I agree. I fucking agree.
And so you have gay men friends, male friends. So, start going out with them to places where you go to date.
Yeah.
Once the pandemic is over, of course. Which looks like we're going to start opening in a few weeks, but I'm telling you, man, when I go out with my straight friends, I bag them more fucking pussy. And because you're straight, straight guys pick up on that, and they're like, "Oh, is that your friend?" You know, and it's always like that. It's always like that. It's the best. You're not. We're not crossing wires. You know.
Yeah, I mean, and another thing too. It's like, it's weird because it's like I'm in a conundrum with myself all the time because I don't give a fuck what people think about me, because you can't worry about what you can't control, right?
Right.
So I can't control like what you think about me. I'm like, what you see right now is me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm gonna be real to you. I'm gonna be your friend, and but on the other hand, it's like I got to learn to like censor myself around women more than I do. I mean, it's not like I'm like, oh, suck my dick or anything like that, but you know, it's like, you know, you just have to be more like I think I have to be more you know, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for.
Nuanced.
I don't know, appropriate, I guess. I don't know.
Say less. Say less.
Say less. Yeah, right.
Because the problem is with women in LA, I grew up on the East Coast too. If you talk too much, you will talk yourself out of the pussy. You don't say as little as you need to say to get the job done. And don't be afraid to say no to somebody, and don't be afraid to walk away if it's not what you want.
Right.
Because
yeah,
I get hit on by women all the time that there's no way I'm taking them out. And they'll ask me stupid ass questions. And I'm like, I start off polite, and then I will bury you if you don't listen to what I'm saying. I don't have that problem anymore, but I'm also older because I've been through that, where like you try to adapt to make somebody love you, and it's a bullshit game. They're either in or they're out. And if your values are different, it's never going to work anyway. So don't be afraid to ask questions, but say very, very little. Just enough to get the job done. Don't talk too much, because out here they're fucking delusional. They'll use it against you.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's about that time, gentlemen.
All right.
All right. Well,
first of all, Jason. First of all, thank you very much for coming on our podcast. You are a highly talented artist, a very interesting gentleman, and I do really appreciate you being open and honest and with no filter having this discussion. You know, I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I appreciate that being invited on the show, and I'd love to do it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys are awesome. I appreciate, you know, listening to me and helping me. And who knows? Maybe something will change once the pandemic's over, and we all get out more, and you know, we'll see what happens.
Well, good luck,
Absolutely.
brother. I enjoyed having you.
Good luck,
on
dude.
the
It was
show.
a pleasure.
All right, I'll
right.
talk to you guys later.
Mike, you want to close this out?
What was
Thanks,
that?
guys.
Mike, you want to close this out?
Yeah. This is another episode of So You Think You Have Problems, So You Think You Have Problems.
So you think you got 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 problems.
That was our boy tonight, Jason. Jason, once again, thanks a lot, my man, and you have a great rest of your day. We'll see everybody next week on our podcast. Much love. Stay healthy. Stay woke. Black Lives Matter.
Ciao.
Thanks, guys.
I like my new glasses, Ron.
They look good. They look
Let me
good.
see.
Man. I like that.